The skies above Earth shimmered unnaturally as the alien fleet materialized in low orbit, their arrival heralded by a thunderous hum that reverberated across the planet. For the first time in recorded history, humanity looked up and knew they were no longer alone. But for the Carthan Collective, a militaristic empire spanning countless star systems, Earth was just another insignificant rock in their ever-expanding portfolio of conquest. From the sleek command vessel Valor Prime, Fleet Commander Zaurik observed the planet below with a mixture of disdain and confidence. Earth's pale blue hue glistened with oceans and clouds, its surface alive with lush greenery and scattered patches of urban development. To him it was nothing more than a resource-rich backwater. Primitive species like humans had always been easy prey. Initial scans complete, Commander, reported First Officer Drain, his voice clipped and efficient. Atmospheric conditions are within acceptable parameters. No evidence of advanced weaponry. The inhabitants are underdeveloped. Zaurik smirked. Another effortless conquest. Deploy the landing teams. Begin extraction operations. Let the humans know their time as masters of this world is over. Within the hour, massive dropships breached Earth's atmosphere, streaking toward the surface like fireballs. Their destinations were carefully selected: mineral-rich regions, industrial centers, and key population hubs. The Carthans' plan was simple: dominate the planet's resources and subdue its inhabitants. But as the first waves of soldiers disembarked, they encountered a reality that no scan could have prepared them for. The first landing zone was deep in the Amazon rainforest. As the Carthan troops descended from their armored crafts, the humid air clung to their sleek exosuits. The towering trees, dense underbrush, and cacophony of alien wildlife were a stark contrast to the sterile, artificial environments of their homeworld. At first it seemed like the jungle would offer no resistance. But then the predators came. Silent and unseen, they struck with terrifying efficiency, jaguar claws raking through armor, swarms of insects infiltrating respirators, venomous snakes biting through joints in their suits. Within hours, the jungle had claimed every member of the landing party. Other landing zones fared no better. In the Australian outback, troops were roasted alive in the searing heat and ambushed by a seemingly endless array of deadly creatures, everything from venomous spiders to saltwater crocodiles. In Siberia, a violent snowstorm grounded an entire fleet of dropships, leaving soldiers to freeze to death in sub-zero temperatures. The Carthan Collective, who had conquered countless worlds, found themselves unprepared for a planet that fought back at every turn. On the streets of New York, where a larger force had landed, human resistance began to organize. Civilians and military personnel worked together, using guerrilla tactics to sabotage the invaders. Improvised explosives, snipers hidden in skyscrapers, and an uncanny ability to adapt left the Carthan forces scrambling. For the first time in centuries, the collective was losing ground. Back aboard the Valor Prime, Fleet Commander Zaurik watched the reports with growing unease. "What is happening down there?" he demanded, slamming his fist against the control panel. Drain hesitated before responding. "Commander, the planet, it's resisting. The environment, the wildlife, even the inhabitants. Our forces are sustaining catastrophic losses." Zaurik's eyes narrowed as he stared at the blue orb below. "Impossible," he hissed. "No single planet can pose such a threat." But Earth wasn't just any planet. It was a Class 14 Deathworld, and it was only getting started. The charred remains of the Carthan dropships lay scattered across the Amazon basin, their twisted metal frames consumed by the relentless jungle. News of the invaders' unexpected failures spread quickly, uniting humanity in a way that decades of diplomacy never could. In bunkers and command centers around the world, leaders scrambled to respond to the alien threat. What they lacked in advanced technology, they made up for with ingenuity and determination. Earth's survival demanded it. "Contact in Sector Delta," a gravelly voice announced over the comms as a squad of U.S. Marines moved silently through the dense forests of Southeast Asia. Their weapons, a mix of standard-issue rifles and improvised electromagnetic launchers developed in record time, glinted in the moonlight. Above them, the hulking shadow of a Carthan patrol craft loomed, its scanners humming as it searched for human survivors. "On my mark," barked Captain Alvarez, crouched behind a fallen tree. His squad waited with bated breath as the alien craft descended. "Now," he shouted. A burst of electromagnetic rounds tore through the night, hitting the craft's exposed underbelly. The explosion was immediate, lighting up the jungle and sending alien debris crashing to the forest floor. Alvarez grinned grimly. "Another one down. Let's move." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Farmers turned their tractors into makeshift battle tanks. Scientists in underground labs reverse-engineered captured Carthan technology, discovering weaknesses in their armor and hacking their communications. Civilians armed with little more than homemade explosives sabotaged supply lines, targeting the invaders with terrifying precision. In one such lab beneath Geneva, Dr. Elena Markov and her team worked feverishly to decode the secrets of a disabled Carthan drone. Its alien circuitry pulsed with a faint blue light as the team dissected its components. "Anything?" Elena asked, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Her assistant, a young engineer named Tarek, grinned as he held up a device that looked like a crystal embedded in metal. "It's a neural relay. I think this is how they communicate across their fleet." Elena's eyes widened. "If we can disrupt that, we can cut them off from reinforcements," Tarek finished, his excitement mirrored by the rest of the team. Elena nodded, determination burning in her chest. "Let's get to work." The Carthan Collective, for all its technological superiority, was woefully unprepared for Earth's unpredictability. They had faced resistance before but never from a Deathworld, a planet that treated every living creature as either predator or prey. In the deserts of North Africa, sandstorms buried Carthan equipment faster than they could deploy it. In the frozen tundras of Alaska, temperatures short-circuited their machines, leaving troops to freeze. Even Earth's oceans, teeming with currents and colossal sea life, swallowed entire alien fleets whole. But it wasn't just the planet fighting back. Humanity itself was proving to be Earth's most formidable weapon. Unlike the Carthan, humans adapted. They learned. They fought dirty. On the bridge of the Valor Prime, Fleet Commander Zaurik paced, his earlier confidence eroding with each new report. "Commander," said Drain, his voice hesitant, "our forces have lost control of 3 major zones. Their resistance is unprecedented." Zaurik clenched his fists, glaring at the holographic display of Earth. "They are primitives," he roared. "They should not pose this level of resistance." Drain hesitated, then spoke carefully. "Commander, there is something you should know. Our scans show anomalies in their biosphere. Earth may be classified as..." "Enough." Zaurik cut him off, but the doubt had already begun to seep in. Back on the ground, in the shadow of a smoldering Carthan war machine, Captain Alvarez looked to the skies. The auroras danced, casting an eerie glow over the battlefield. "We're not just fighting for Earth," he muttered. "We're showing the galaxy what it means to be human." And humanity, for the first time in centuries, was united in a singular purpose: survival. The skies over Earth churned with storms that defied logic, as if the planet itself were rising to meet the invaders. For the first time in their expansionist history, the Carthan Collective faced an enemy they couldn't predict, a planet that seemed alive in its intent to repel them. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, a team of human scientists aboard the deep-sea research vessel Oceanus worked frantically to decode an ancient mystery. What they had initially thought was an undersea ridge turned out to be something far more extraordinary. A vast structure buried in the ocean floor, its surface inscribed with alien symbols that defied translation. "This isn't just a relic," Dr. Kira Huang said, her voice tinged with awe. "It's a machine, a planetary defense system." Her assistant, Jonas Patel, frowned as he studied the sonar feed. "It's emitting a low-frequency signal, but it's not like anything I've ever seen. It's almost like it's waking up." Kira's stomach churned. Whatever this thing was, it had been dormant for millennia. If they activated it, there was no telling what might happen. But with the Carthan fleet tightening its grip on Earth, they were running out of options. Above ground, humanity's resistance was gaining momentum. In the sprawling ruins of Beijing, a group of survivors launched a coordinated attack on a Carthan supply convoy, using EMP grenades fashioned from scavenged parts. In South America, guerrilla fighters lured Carthan troops into a volcanic region, where unexpected eruptions wiped out entire battalions. But the tide truly began to turn when humanity tapped into the ancient technology beneath their feet. In Geneva, Dr. Elena Markov's team had successfully hacked into the Carthan neural network, gaining access to their encrypted communications. What they discovered sent shockwaves through humanity's leadership. "Elena," said General Marcus Price, his weathered face projected onto a nearby screen, "are you saying the Carthan New Earth was dangerous?" Elena nodded grimly. "Not just dangerous, classified as a Class 14 Deathworld. They assumed it was uninhabited because no advanced civilization should be able to survive here. We're an anomaly." Marcus exhaled sharply. "That explains their arrogance. They didn't think we'd fight back, let alone win." Meanwhile, aboard the Valor Prime, Fleet Commander Zaurik was struggling to maintain control. Reports of catastrophic losses poured in from every continent. Equipment failed, troops deserted, and alien wildlife claimed lives faster than reinforcements could arrive. This is no ordinary planet, Drain said cautiously. Earth's biosphere is a weapon in itself. The more we press, the harder it fights back. Zaurik glared at him. Are you suggesting we retreat? I'm suggesting we rethink our strategy, Drain replied. If Earth is a death world, our current approach is suicide. But Zaurik's pride wouldn't allow retreat. He ordered a doomsday ship to be prepared, intent on annihilating the planet if it couldn't be conquered. Back on the Oceanus, Kira and her team made a breakthrough. By deciphering a series of glyphs on the ancient structure, they activated a small portion of the machine. A deep, resonant hum echoed through the ocean, sending shockwaves across the Pacific. Did we just do that? Jonas asked, his voice trembling. Kira nodded, her face pale. It's responding to us. And it's sending out a signal? As the hum intensified, strange energy pulses began disrupting Carthan systems worldwide. Troop transports fell from the sky, drones malfunctioned, and alien comms went silent. Earth itself seemed to rise in defiance, its dormant defense systems springing to life. In the heart of the Pacific, the ancient structure began to glow, its energy spilling into the surrounding waters. Kira stared at the readouts, torn between hope and fear. We've just awakened something far older and far more powerful than the Carthan, she said softly. The question that lingered, unspoken, was whether humanity could control it, or if they had unleashed something even they couldn't survive. The ancient structure beneath the Pacific roared to life, its pulsing energy illuminating the ocean depths in an otherworldly blue glow. Across the globe, tremors rippled through the land, as if the planet itself were adjusting to the newfound power. On the deck of the research vessel Oceanus, Dr. Kira Huang and her team stood in stunned silence, watching the data stream across their monitors. This is impossible, whispered Jonas Patel, his voice barely audible over the rumble. The energy output, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. Kira didn't respond immediately. Her eyes were fixed on the sonar feed, where the structure's intricate design now revealed its true scale. It wasn't just a machine. It was part of a planetary defense grid, a system so vast it extended deep into Earth's core. Whatever this is, Kira finally said, it wasn't made by us. But it's been waiting, for millennia. The Carthan fleet orbiting Earth was in chaos. Their communications had been reduced to garbled static, and their once flawless technology was failing at an alarming rate. Fleet Commander Zaurik stood on the bridge of the Valor Prime, his composure unraveling with each new report. Commander, Drain said, his voice tight, the energy pulses from the planet are disrupting our systems. Our shields are down and our weapons are offline. Zaurik clenched his fists, his pride refusing to yield. Send the doomsday ship. If we can't conquer this planet, we'll obliterate it. Drain hesitated. Commander, that might not. I gave you an order. Zaurik roared, slamming his fist against the console. Prepare the weapon. As the massive doomsday vessel descended toward Earth, its destructive payload primed, Zaurik felt a flicker of vindication. If Earth refused to submit, it would burn. On the ground, humanity's forces were rallying, emboldened by the alien fleet's growing vulnerability. In Geneva, Dr. Elena Markov monitored the ancient system's effects with mounting concern. These energy pulses, Elena said to General Marcus Price over a secure line, they're not just disabling the Carthan fleet. They're also destabilizing the planet's crust. If we push this system too hard, Earth itself could be at risk. Marcus frowned. Are you saying we have to stop? No, Elena replied, her tone resolute. I'm saying we need to control it. If we don't, we'll destroy ourselves before the Carthan do. In the Pacific, Kira and her team worked frantically to decipher the ancient glyphs controlling the system. The structure continued to pulse, sending waves of energy across the ocean. Then, suddenly, the readings changed. Kira, Jonas said, his voice urgent. The signal, it's not just targeting the Carthan. Something else is waking up. Kira's stomach dropped. What do you mean? Jonas pointed to the screen, where a massive anomaly was forming deep beneath the Earth's crust. Whatever this system was designed to protect us from, it's still here. The first signs of the anomaly appeared near the Mariana Trench. A deep, guttural roar echoed through the ocean, audible even to the surface vessels monitoring the area. Kira's face went pale as the data confirmed her worst fears. It's not just a weapon, she said, her voice trembling. It's a containment system. And we've just broken the lock. Above, the Carthan doomsday ship entered Earth's atmosphere, its massive payload poised to deliver annihilation. But before it could deploy, A surge of energy from the ancient structure ripped through the sky, striking the vessel. The explosion lit up the heavens, raining debris over the Pacific. On the Valor Prime, Zaurik watched in stunned silence as his ultimate weapon was reduced to nothing. For the first time in his career he felt true fear. Back on the Oceanus, Kira turned to her team, her expression grim. "We've stopped the Carthan," she said. "But we've awakened something far worse. And now we have to face it." The ancient power surged again and the world held its breath. The tremors beneath Earth's surface grew stronger, radiating from the Pacific Ocean like the pulse of a slumbering beast awakening after eons. The energy emitted by the ancient structure beneath the waves had not only neutralized the Carthan invaders, it had also unlocked something buried deep within the planet. On the research vessel Oceanus, Dr. Kira Huang and her team scrambled to make sense of the unfolding disaster. Their screens flickered with chaotic data streams, warning of tectonic shifts and rising energy levels unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. "This anomaly, it's massive," Jonas Patel said, his voice trembling. "If it breaks free it could tear the planet apart." Kira's mind raced. She stared at the sonar feed, where the glowing structure was now surrounded by dark, shifting shapes. Whatever this ancient containment system had been holding, it was no longer dormant. "We need to shut it down," Kira said, her voice firm. "If we don't, Earth won't survive this." In orbit, the Carthan fleet was in ruins. The ancient system's energy pulses had left their ships disabled, scattering them like chaff before the wind. Aboard the Valor Prime, Fleet Commander Zaurik paced the bridge, his once pristine uniform in disarray. "Commander," Drain said cautiously, "our fleet is crippled. We've lost the Doomsday ship, and now we're detecting massive energy surges from the planet. Whatever is happening down there, it's beyond our understanding." Zaurik's face twisted with fury, but deep down, fear had taken hold. "We cannot leave," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. "To retreat now would mean humiliation." Drain hesitated. "With respect, Commander, survival is our only priority now. If we stay we will be destroyed." As the energy readings from Earth continued to spike, Zaurik gave a reluctant nod. "Order the retreat," he said quietly. "Let this cursed world destroy itself." On the ground, humanity was racing against time. In Geneva, Dr. Elena Markov coordinated efforts with scientists around the world to find a way to stabilize the ancient system. Military forces, already battered from fighting the Carthan, now turned their focus to evacuating vulnerable populations and bracing for the worst. "We're running out of time," Elena said over a secure channel to General Marcus Price. "If the containment system fails, it will release enough energy to shatter the planet's crust. We need to activate the failsafe." "What failsafe?" Marcus asked, his brow furrowing. Elena's voice lowered. "The glyphs suggest the system can self-destruct, taking whatever it's containing with it. But it will also devastate Earth." Marcus was silent for a moment. "Is there another way?" "Not unless we can figure out how to recontain it," Elena admitted. In the Pacific, Kira and her team descended into the heart of the structure in a makeshift submersible, determined to find a solution. The glow of the ancient machine bathed the interior in a ghostly light, its glyphs pulsating with ominous energy. As they reached the core, Kira spotted a central control panel, its symbols rearranging themselves as if responding to her presence. "This is it," she said. "The containment protocols? But can we reset them in time?" Jonas asked. Kira's hands hovered over the panel. "We don't have a choice." The ground shook violently as the anomaly began to breach the surface. In the Mariana Trench, a colossal, amorphous entity emerged, its form shifting and writhing like a living storm. Tendrils of energy lashed out, destabilizing the already fragile environment. Kira worked furiously, deciphering the glyphs as Jonas and the others provided updates on the anomaly's movements. Finally, with a deep breath, she activated the system. The structure roared to life, sending out a pulse of energy so intense it lit up the ocean depths. The anomaly let out a deafening screech as the containment field reformed around it, dragging it back into the trench. Above ground, the tremors ceased. The skies cleared and the energy pulses dissipated. Earth, battered but unbroken, had survived. On the Oceanus, Kira collapsed into her seat, exhausted but relieved. "It's done," she said softly. "The planet is safe, for now." In orbit, the remnants of the Carthan fleet fled, their morale shattered. On the bridge of the Valor Prime, Zaurik stared at the planet below, his pride crushed. "Never again," he muttered. Humanity, now aware of Earth's true nature, stood united in the aftermath. The ancient system had been a warning and a gift, a reminder of the planet's lethal potential and the resilience of its people. But as the stars above twinkled in the night sky, a lingering question remained. What else had the galaxy hidden from them, and what challenges awaited beyond Earth's horizon?